Yo, this is Jay from Straight Smoke Gaming, and in today's video, we're going to be doing one of our NFL offseason reviews, and in this video, we're going to be focusing on the AFC East. So that's going to cover the Buffalo Bills, Miami Dolphins, New York Jets, and New England Patriots. As a whole, I'd say this division had a pretty interesting offseason. The Dolphins made some trades. The Jets got a new head coach. The Patriots, they addressed pretty much all of their needs. So should be an interesting video. Let's go ahead and get right into it. First, we're going to talk about the Miami Dolphins. So like I said, the Miami Dolphins made a trade. That's that top name there, Micah Fitzpatrick. He came over from the Steelers in a trade. He started with the Dolphins, and then he got traded to the Steelers, and now he is back with the Dolphins. So should be interesting there. Hopefully that works out for him. They also got James Daniels from the Steelers. I believe that was a free agent signing, not in the trade. And, that's good because that adds some depth to the offensive line because they did lose offensive linemen. We'll talk about that in the key departures. Mike Hilton, solid corner. Should add some depth to that secondary. Jack Jones, same thing there. Solid corner, should add some depth to that secondary. Kenneth Grant, first-round pick. He's going to be their big defensive lineman in the middle, kind of the Christian Wilkins replacement. They got rid of him a couple years ago. So there's that for you. And then Darren Waller. We don't know Darren Waller. We don't know what he's got. He's coming out of retirement to play for them, mainly because of the Jonnu Smith trade. Now there's a need at tight end. So now talking about key departures, Jalen Ramsey and Jonnu Smith are the two guys that they ended up trading to the Steelers. So that's who they gave up. Two solid pieces, important pieces to their offense and defense. So it'll be interesting to see how that works. They also lost Emmanuel Ogbah, good defensive player. Should add depth to the new team that he's on. So the Dolphins will feel that loss. Javon Holland being the biggest name. That was their starting safety, one of the better safeties in the league. Calais Campbell, he's still good. Not what he once was because he is a little bit older now, but still a solid defensive lineman piece. And then Robert Jones, starting offensive lineman for them. So that's where the James Daniels signing comes into play. Last year they went 8-9. As long as they're healthy and to a place through the best of his abilities, I don't see why the Dolphins couldn't have a little bit better of a record. 8-9 is kind of disappointing when you take a look at the names that they have. Tyreek Hill, Waddle, Tua, you got to play better than 8-9. Next up, the Buffalo Bills. The Buffalo Bills had a pretty good offseason. Let's go ahead and talk about the key additions first. So they added Joey Bosa, good edge rusher, should work in well on that defense and make that defense better. Larry Ogunjobi, another good defensive lineman. This one's an interior lineman. Should work in well with Ed Oliver. Just kind of making sure they got a good rotation of defensive linemen. They also brought back Tre'Davious White, was with the Bills. He ended up leaving, whether it was via trade, releasing, whatever it is. I don't know what it is. He was a Bill, wasn't anymore, and then signed with them this offseason. So that's good there. Corner is a need for them. Taking a look at wide receivers that they brought in, Elijah Moore and Josh Palmer, both solid options. Neither one are good enough to probably be your one, but they're good 2s and 3s. And, the Bills, from what I've been hearing, they're not going to have a set one. It's just going to be pretty much a rotation. So if that's the case, I think those are two good guys to work in into that rotation. Should benefit them well. First round pick was Maxwell Harrison. Good corner. Had some issues, dealing with some injuries right now. As long as he's healthy, I don't see why that wouldn't be a good move for the Bills. And then key departures, Matt Collins. He was one of those rotation wide receivers that I was talking about. So, it is going to be a loss because Matt Collins is a solid 2 to 3 wide receiver, depending on what you need him to do. He had some big games for the Bills last year. Kaiir Elam, not too much of a key loss because he's not too good, but they did use a first-round pick on him. They traded him away, I believe it was for a 7th. So if he does go to the Cowboys and ball out, that's going to sting as a Bills fan to see him have success somewhere else when you use the first-round pick on him and couldn't figure it out. And then Von Miller, he's older, but still a good edge rusher at his age. Previous record was 13-4. I don't see any reason the Bills would not be able to do that again this year, if not better. Next up, the New York Jets. Key additions, Justin Fields. We know what Justin Fields is. Solid quarterback, not one of the best, but who knows? Maybe depending on the kind of season that he puts up this year, maybe we see him have a little bit more success and play a little bit more than 1 year with a team. It seems like he's recently just been bouncing around. Last year he started a little bit with the Steelers and ended up getting benched for Russell Wilson. So, Fields has a good season with the Jets, maybe the Jets have found their guy. Josh Reynolds, solid wide receiver 3. Not much more than that. I like Josh Reynolds, former Ram. I liked him when he was a Ram. So solid wide receiver 3, I like that move. Josh Myers, starting offensive lineman. That's a good move for the Jets. You want to protect Fields and make the running game easier. Andre Sisco, good safety. Should help to that secondary, add some depth. And the first-round pick was Ahmad Membu. So another good offensive lineman. You want to protect Fields, make the run game a little bit better as well. Give him time to, find Garrett Wilson down the field and give Breece Hall and Braylon Allen more rushing lanes. They also got a new head coach, Aaron Glenn, defensive coordinator from the Lions. So the defense, I expect the defense to be on point. I'm not too sure what to expect from the offense yet. Key departures, they did lose Devontae Adams. Not too much of a loss there. We knew he was going. They're not really in a spot to where they need Devontae Adams. I feel like they really kind of need to get more of an identity on offense before they get another solid wide receiver 2. Hassan Reddick, good edge rusher left. Not too much of a loss there because of the holdout and all that. So I'm sure Jets fans they're not too sad about that. DJ Reed, another guy that they lost in the secondary. That stings a little bit, but I think they'll be fine. They still do have sauce. And they also lost Javon Kinlaw, solid defensive lineman. Overall, they went 5-12 last year. I expect them to be a little bit better this year. Next up, the New England Patriots. The Patriots, they had a really good offseason. I'm going to try to fly through these additions because there's a lot of them. So Stephon Diggs, we know what Stephon Diggs is. That's a solid wide receiver 1. Should help out Drake May quite a bit. Harold Landry is going to add you some solid defensive help on the edge, so I like that signing. Carlton Davis, another solid defensive signing. He'll help you in the secondary, which is honestly where the Patriots needed most of their help, I think. That defense was struggling, and good defense will lead to more offense. The offense won't feel like they have to score every time down the field. Marcus Epps, solid secondary. He's a corner or safety, so that should help out there. Milton Williams being their biggest signing this offseason. Good, solid defensive lineman coming off the defending Super Bowl champs, the Eagles. So he's good. He's going to work in. He's going to help out that defense for sure. I don't have any questions about that. And then through the draft, they went ahead. I'd say they had a pretty solid draft, with Will Campbell, first-round pick. Nothing to hate there. They needed offensive line. They got to protect Drake May, so can't complain too much about that. Travion Henderson, he's probably going to be the future of the backfield, especially with Stevenson's fumbling problems. If Stevenson continues to have those, I look for Henderson to have a much bigger role by the end of the season. Kyle Williams, solid wide receiver, should be the future of the Patriots wide receiver core. I've been hearing a lot of good things about him. I don't see why it wouldn't work out. Jared Wilson, solid center, I believe it was, from Georgia. You want to bulk up that offensive line. And then another signing they had was Morgan Moses, another offensive lineman. So there's a theme here with the Patriots offseason. Help the defense and the offensive line specifically, and the offense should come. Key departure was Jack Jones and Joe Milton. Previous record was 4-13. I believe the Patriots will have a good season. They have a new head coach in Mike Vrabel. I believe he has a solid chance to be a Coach of the Year candidate. I like his odds more than Ben Johnson just because what the Patriots have is a lot less than the Bears and all these other teams. But that's the offseason review. So go ahead and comment down below. Let me know what you guys think. I think by far in this division, the Patriots had the best offseason. I think the Patriots are going to have a really good year. When it comes to this video, that's all we got. So if you enjoyed, please remember to like and sub for more Madden content. And we'll see you in the next video. Bye, guys.